Hello everyone and welcome to Wing Chun Wednesday, episode 66. This week we're going to be answering a fan's question about closing the gap and breaking through someone's guard. So stay tuned. Alright everybody, welcome back. So we have a question this week from Tiscalius, and he asks, and he says, I'm running into a problem with sparring. When fighting someone who boxes or uses mostly their upper body in their martial art, I'm having trouble getting behind their defense. Make sense? I try to open them up with a pak sao, but they back up as fast as I can move in after that. Even with a tan sao, I barely get in. Only barely reliable technique for me is pak sao, then move around the outside. Have you run into similar problems, or have you any tips on what to do? As a matter of fact, I do. So I think what's happening here, Tiscalius, is you're facing two main issues. I think the first one is you're not moving in as much as you should be. And you mentioned an upright, sort of upper body-esque martial art. Boxing, right, comes to mind immediately, as well as possibly Muay Thai, even long fists from what I've seen in Spencer. Very, very solid stance that Spencer has. So I'm thinking what's happening is he mentioned the pak sao. So Spencer puts up any stance. What's happening is I think, Tiscalius, you're stuck in that chi sao sort of mindset. Not a bad thing because it can come in handy, but I think what you're doing is you're used to in chi sao, and I think a lot of Wing Chun guys do this, as if Spencer's gonna stay there when you do the pak, and you can get that hit in. And you'll notice even in chi sao, you're usually out of range for safety. So look, this is actually like I could hit him, but it's not gonna be like this powerful, destructive hit. I think what you're doing is, what's happening is you mentioned him moving back too, and you know, we won't move this way a little bit so you can move back. What's happening is as you pak sao, you go for the hit, he's moving back, right? So what you have to do is you have to be very aggressive with your Wing Chun, and I don't know how advanced you are or how much footwork you have now, and it's not even necessarily doing it and then moving in, but a staple of the pak sao is really moving with it. And then note like Bruce Lee in Enter the Dragon, right? When he does it, it's the classic thing, right? He paks and he moves in like super far. It's explosive stance. It's this classic back fist thing, right? Very important. So, you know, and this goes for not just boxing, but boxers, man, they're so used to upper body stuff, like you're playing their game, essentially, right? You're trying to best them in their upper body game, so you have to be really creative, really aggressive. So besides just the moving in, boxers are also smart, and like we said, it's their game, so they're not just gonna move back forever until you can like sprint and catch up, right? They're gonna be very strategic, because again, they don't have to worry about their feet, man. If you're playing up here, they're so used to like moving and taking hits that you drills constantly, just dodging and stuff. So what I would also recommend is, just like we talked about last week, being a little more strategic, and that could be not just standing out front here, trying to bust through his stance with the pak saos, and you mentioned a tan too. It's not just doing that, maybe, like we talked about, getting a little creative, maybe trying different angles, and maybe if I get Spencer just a little bit off, going for the pak sao, and then going from there. So those are my two main tips, is don't just stand here and go like, that technique didn't work, and then the tan sao didn't work either. I'll try this one, and that's a whole nother mindset and a whole nother video. But also don't get caught trying different techniques. Whole point of Wing Chun is, and chi sao, is you're just gonna feel what's going on with Spencer, okay? And kind of feeling it out. If he's like super solid and he's not like kind of malleable, I'm gonna say, okay, maybe something like a loft to get him to kind of resist that strength. Or if he's really soft, I'll try something else, maybe like going around it or something. So don't be caught up in just, I'm gonna try the pak sao, I'm gonna try this. And I think the moment you think, then you're gonna get knocked out. What do you think, Spencer?
I guess, yeah, seeing this, I feel like I have two little comments.
Perfect, okay.
One is my advice for any martial art, regardless of what you're doing or how you're going about it, what kind of opponent you have, don't lose ground. So you never, even if you're someone who, like, let's say you're fighting a giant, and you can't just advance the way that you would with like someone a similar size, or someone just a similar malleability, like they're just like the bridge, you know, then you can't necessarily move them, and you need to go around them maybe, or under them, but right. Still, that's not giving up ground. So you're just like creating like the next space where you're gonna come in. Yep. So if someone's moving back, you should not necessarily move forward with it, but don't give up your space, because it's yours.
So guys, I used to do fencing when I was a kid, okay? And my instructor was always yelling at me because I was moving back so much. Now taken, I got a lot of points like this. I would get I would start moving back and I would kind of wait for them to strike or something, and then I would do this thing called stomp cut, where as he would strike, I would just snap right on his wrist and I'd get a point. So it's a very strategic sort of thing, but also it built bad habits. I was always going back, because guess what? There's only so much ground you can give, like that's just, and then I'm out. Like I'm out of bounds if I get pushed out. So I think it's extremely important not to give up ground. And I think also you brought up a cool point. If he's actually moving back, he is giving ground. So like you said, you don't have to jump on it and go insane, but I think in basic fighting, aggression is usually a good thing.
Because Phil brought up a very good point, which was to not try to do techniques
Yeah.
in the ring if you're in a situation. So there is this book that like many people have heard of. It's very, very popular. It's called The Book of Five Rings by Miyamoto Musashi, who's just basically has the reputation for being the best samurai ever. And this book it's his little like philosophical meditations on battle that he wrote at the end of his life. And it's composed of 5 short chapters. Highly recommend checking this out, whatever you do. But all of the first 4 are just elements of different, very, very kind of concrete, basic topics of the life of war. But then the very last chapter is only, I think, 1 page, and it tells you forget everything I just said and live in the moment, basically. And and it's like the book of nothing. It's like the book of void.
Yeah. Void.
So when
Absolutely.
you practice all these things for hours and hours, so that you can naturally perform them without thinking, because there's not enough time to think about anything.
Absolutely.
So awesome.
I agree with everything he says, and yeah, keep that in mind, guys. I think in any martial art too, like especially with using kata, using forms to teach us the movements, well, it's easy to form habits, but I'm gonna use this technique or like this thing and everything, so just be careful. Just be careful, guys. And I think that's why still Sulum Tao is the ultimate form of Wing Chun, because it's all separate. And you can combine them with your own creative way, right? It's not just this train track. So keep that in mind, guys, and stay tuned for next week. Make sure to follow Wing Chun News on Facebook, and if you want to be a part of this learning community, hit the subscribe button. Besides that, put the questions in the comments. We will continue to explore them. All right, thanks again, guys, and check out my other videos on drawing. It's all based in this learning positivity, guys, and only use martial arts if you have to. Just keep it positive, keep it fun, and no bullying. See you around. Thanks, Spencer, by the way.